She comes out of the room and her face is pale. Like she took off all the makeup. So you and Mac and me are together? You dealing with this ugly dude? Okay, dokie, okay, dokie. Come on, sit up and let me see what's going. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy URBEN CURRSE. I want to welcome you back to UNDI TV, where everything is undiluted. And if you guys have not yet, hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that like button. Go ahead and do that now so you guys can be informed when I drop more videos, because there's going to be more crazy stories coming up. So let's go ahead and get to that video. Bam! Alright guys, so as y'all can tell by the title of this story, it's gonna get a little juicy. And I'm gonna see if I could remember everything in detail, because it's been a while since this story happened. So I was working at Red Cross, and I was like in my early 20s when I started working at Red Cross, and I was a lab tech. Just a little backstory in lab tech. I used to like work with platelets, Buffy codes, plasma, all that stuff like that, whole bloods. Like, so when somebody gets blood drawn, we would process the blood to make it into a whole blood and turn it into plasma. Well, not turn it into plasma. We would draw up the plasma. It's a whole process. It's just hard. It's a whole nother process of what used to go on. So Red Cross was kind of like, it was kind of like a party job. Like, of course you took your job serious because, you know, you're working with untested blood and all types of stuff like that. But in between, we would actually go. Well, we'll send someone to the store and we'll go get liquor and all types of stuff like that. And, you know, we go get somebody, send somebody to go get food, and we was, you know, going out cars and we drink liquor and all types. It was like a very crazy place. It was very crazy at that time. So at this time, we were kind of going through transitions of a manager leaving, and they needed a new manager to come in. Now, I was so young, I didn't know how business worked like that, so I didn't know, like, you know, you gotta hurry up and just bring in another manager right away. I was just like, okay, they left, okay, we still doing our thing, like nothing stopped the process that we're going through. So there was a guy that they hired, and we're gonna call him Mac and Me. This guy looked exactly like Mac and Me. I'm gonna try to see if I could put a picture over here. If not, then y'all go look up Mac and Me. This dude looked just like him. Oh my God, he was ugly as hell, right? And then also there was a young lady that started working there, and her name, I'm gonna call her Tori. So Tori started working there and Mac and Me started working there at the same time. So Tori actually worked the same shift that I worked, and which was overnight. So one night, we're all sitting around. I think we got done work early, because you know, some days we just get done and we just sit around or we just go home. So this time we all just sitting around, and I was listening to music, and one of my other co-workers, who me and her wound up becoming real good friends, we both did music. So I was her producer, then she was, you know, she was a singer and everything like that, and I also do music as well. But all right, that's here nor there. That day we're sitting there, and me and Sherry sitting there listening to my headphones. She has one headphones, I had one headphones, and she like, oh, and she used to call me El Paso. She said, El Paso, you know, you gotta give me this beat, or you gotta write this thing, whatever she was saying about the song or whatever the case may be. The lady, Tori, she overheard us talking about music. She was like, oh, you do music? I was like, yeah, I do music. She's like, oh, you should let me hear some sometime. I'm like, okay, you know, I'll let you hear right now. Like, it's no problem. So I gave her my I think I had, this one, iPods were out, like really heavy. And I gave her my iPod and I gave her my headphones, and she started listening to music and everything. So just her listening to my music, we started sparking up for conversation. Now before this, we never talked like that at all. Like I think she was there for like a few weeks until before this time that we started talking. So we kind of built a rapport just on, you know, just talking and everything like that. And she would, you know, she was a very sweet woman, like very sweet woman. Kind of found out she was about 12 or 13 years older than me. She didn't look it. Now this woman looked amazing. Like she was Dominican. She had that pretty brown Dominican skin, and she had the slick back hair, and she wore a lot of makeup, but I didn't know it was a lot of makeup because she made it look natural. You get what I'm saying? But she had the slick back hair, and she used to wear this ponytail with this little clip, and it was real long, and it kind of like came to right here. I'm like, damn, she kind of pretty and everything, and I'm checking out, but I'm not really, you know, checking out to make her see this. So we passed this day here. We, like I said, we just started talking about things, and like she kind of like flirting with me and whatever. This is one of the one times I noticed she was flirting, that a woman flirted with me. So one night, like I said before, we used to go get everybody food. Like we'll send a person to go get somebody food, go get the liquor, stuff like that, come back, because, you know, like I said, we might get done early. So this day I said, you know what, I don't mind going to go get it. So she was like, hey, I'll ride with you. I'm like, okay, cool, like come ride with me. Now we went to McDonald's, and the McDonald's was an overnight McDonald's, and this McDonald's had like one person working in it. So we wound up sitting in the car for 2 hours. 2 hours sitting in this car. So of course, if you're sitting there for 2 hours and I'm attractive and she's attractive and we're attracted to each other, you're gonna start sparking up some conversation. You get what I'm saying? And we got to get to know each other a little bit. You know, we started like sparking up. You know, at that time we wound up exchanging numbers. A little backstory. I was actually with my son mother. It's always crazy how my son mother comes up in the stories, right? I was with my son mother at the time, and we were going through a breakup, and I tried to stay away from home as much as possible because of how the breakup was going, and we both lived together. So I was just like, I don't know what I should be doing. What the hell? Sorry, y'all. One of my lights died. All right, so like I said, we were going through this breakup, and when we were going through the breakup, I tried to stay away from the house. Myself and Tori started conversating a little bit more. We started texting, stuff like that, and I wasn't sleeping with her. I wasn't sleeping with her at all. I wasn't even like hanging out with her unless it was at the job. And then one day, like maybe about within that time that me and her was texting back and forth, maybe within like a few weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks, me and my son's mother wound up breaking up. So of course, now I'm like, I don't have any obligations to anybody. I don't have anything that I need to like hide or anything like that because I'm broken up with this woman now. So me and Tori started getting closer and we started hanging out. So then one day she was just like, hey, look, you want to come to my house? Like we could hang out, this and the third, or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, cool, you know, I don't mind that because I'm trying to get away from the house anyway. So I lived in Baltimore City and she lived all the way in Bowie. Now from Bowie to Baltimore City, that's like a 45-minute drive. So we started hanging out at her house. She had a son. He was about maybe 15 or 16. He was a tall guy, real well-mannered guy. Like I said, at this time we weren't even sleeping together, like at all. We were just hanging out. We were just trying to get to know each other. Now to go back to Mac and me. Now Mac and me, I used to wonder why this guy did not like me. And I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? Why is he always trying to get me in trouble? And he was even there that long. It was like a month period that he started just like, he was just look at me wrong and just like try to, whatever little thing I do, he's trying to like nitpick and like come at me and all this other stuff. I'm like, yo, what is wrong with this dude? Like, what is wrong? So one day I started talking to her about him. I'm like, yo, what's up with this dude? Like, this is crazy. I'm like, y'all both from New York, right? She's like, yeah, we both from New York. So I'm like, yo, you know him or something? She was like, you know what? I got a confession to tell you. Me and him just broke up. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on, wait. So you and Mac and me are together? You dealing with this ugly dude? Like, what's going on? Like, how does it? What's going on with this whole breakup and everything? Like, tell me, give me some more backstory. She started telling me how they both moved to Bowie together from New York, and when they got here, they were together. But then he broke up with her and they wound up moving apart, but he still had stuff at her house. But I never seen the stuff at her house because her house was it didn't really have a lot of furniture or anything in there. Like she just moved in type of thing. And like you could tell she was like trying to transition over from moving to New York to Bowie. So I'm like, damn, like, this is crazy. I really now understand why this guy's coming at me. I'm still not sleeping with her. So one day, I think we went to Walmart or one of the stores we went to, Food Lion, whatever the grocery store we went to. And I'm helping her take the bags out of the car. Well, I'm taking the bags out of the car. And I'm just like, hey, just stand at the car while I go take the bags up to your house. Take the bags up. I take the first round up, and it's like we're way in the back of the parking lot, and she's on like the 3rd floor. So I'm, to take a little time to walk from the car to the parking lot to the apartment. I go put the first set of food up. Now I come back down, I grab the second set of food. All of a sudden I see a car just come around, and I'm already like close to the steps of the apartment. It's Mac and me. He just pulls up, and they started beefing. So I'm young, and I'm like, this ain't a part of this. This is not something I need to be a part of. So I kind of just watched from the steps, because it was like a window type of thing you could see from the steps, and I'm just watching the whole interaction. I was like, okay, should I just stay up here or should I go back downstairs? Like I gotta get the rest of the bags for this and the third. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm like, at this point, he must have been watching us. He had to be watching us, because the way he skirted around and everything, I guess he was just in his feelings like, yo, you dealing with this young dude, because he was older than her. He was probably in his 40s at this time. She was in she was almost 40, you know what I'm saying? But he was in his mid 40s, like he was an older guy. So when I came downstairs, I could hear him saying, oh, you gonna mess with that young boy? You gonna mess with that young boy, this, that, and the third? So now I have to be involved because you're talking about me. I'm like, look, let me tell you something, bro. I don't know what y'all had before, but I ain't got nothing to do with y'all little foolishness. Try me if you want to. I'm gonna lose my job and you gonna lose your life.
Alright, I
This is what he telling me. So he wound up getting in the car, pulling off. It got to a point where at work, he tried to avoid me as much as possible, but I would nitpick now. Before he was nitpicking, so now I would nitpick. So I would say little things and do little things to kind of just get under his skin, because I'm like, oh, now I know why you was trying to get at me. Like, you was jealous, but you ain't know how to come at me, and I didn't know that y'all were dealing with each other. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're my boss now. I don't care about you. I really don't care about dudes, and you're gonna hear this recurring through a lot of my videos. I really don't care about dudes. I have more women friends than guy friends. It is what it is. So now I'm like, I got a mission now. I'm gonna bust her down as soon as possible. So one day, maybe a few days after that, after the encounter with Mac and me in the parking lot and all that stuff like that, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go bust this down. So I went to my house, got some clothes. My son mother looking at me crazy, like, where the hell he think he going? Because of course I wasn't staying out like that as much as possible. I mean, as much or whatever. And now I'm staying out as much as possible. You get what I mean? Get to her house, and she say, oh, just sit on the couch or whatever. I'm like, cool. Now she don't have no TV or anything like that. This is before you could just scroll on Instagram and all of that. So you just I'm just kind of just like staring in space almost. You get what I mean? She goes in the room. Bruh, she comes out of the room and her face is pale. Like, she took off all the makeup and she looked totally different from where her skin was. Let's say her skin was this color. When she came back out, it was this color. So I'm looking at her like, this is a whole nother damn person. Like, where did she come from? Where did she come from? Like, who is this? She started talking to me. I'm like, oh, that is her. I'm like, yo, this is no way in the world this could be the same girl. She comes sit next to me on the couch. And then she's sitting next to me on the couch. I'm like, I'm kind of weirded out because I want to ask her, like, yo, what happened to your face? But I don't want to say anything because I don't want to like be disrespectful, especially she's like an older woman at this time. And then like I already had a mission to like, I'm gonna bust her down. So we wound up doing a little foreplay and all that craziness, and we wound up having sex on the couch. Now, the way we're having sex, of course I'm on top of her, and this is the arm of the chair. This is me. Her head is in the arm of the chair. Like, this is her head, this is the arm of the chair. Her head is in the arm of the chair. I'm doing my thing, I'm doing my thing, I'm doing my thing. So I want to reposition. And when I tried to reposition, I couldn't get it right. So I said, I lifted up, and when I lifted up, I said, hey, move up a little bit. When I tell y'all, I felt like I was in a movie, I'm Gonna Get You Suckered. First and foremost, she came out there with the pale face. She lifted up. Remember that ponytail I was telling y'all about? That same ponytail that was sitting up here with the little clip and all that, she had that ponytail in her head. When she lifted up, that ponytail was over here. Bruh. Yo, when I tell y'all, I was like, yo, what in the freak is going on, bruh? Like, the ponytail was all the way over here. But I'm still in mission mode. I'm like, yo, all right, I gotta still do this mission. I gotta be still on this mission because I gotta make her just forget about this dude and just like kind of just prance around with me and all this other stuff. Man, I never felt so weird in my life. I thought I was literally being punked. This when Punk was out. I thought I was like, yo, this is nowhere in the world that this woman could be looking like this and looking like that. So it got to a point where I was just like, you know what? I can't really deal with her like this because I thought she was somebody else. You know the song that Will Smith was saying? Stuck in the basement, sitting on a tricycle, girl, getting on my nerves. I'm going out of my mind. I thought she was fine. Don't know if her body is hers. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. So I'm telling this story because now I need to see your baby pictures. I need to see when you was a teenager. I need to see what's under that hair hat. I need to see what kind of makeup all of that. I need to know everything before I was around you, so I cannot be shocked like this anymore. Till this day, I don't mess with women that wear a bunch of makeup. I don't mess with women that wear a bunch of weave. I don't mess with women that wear clips on their head and it looks like it was blending in. When I tell you I thought that was her hair, yo, I could not believe that wasn't her hair. Like, everything just turned to a whole nother. And then, you know, the wasn't even good. So it was just like, I did all of this for nothing. I really did all of this for nothing, but at the same time, I did it for something. Because I wanted to just machismo and put my nuts on that dude's head. It was just like one of them type of things. You get what I'm saying? Man, one day he came to me after the fact. He was just like, man,
you can have her, man. You can have her, man. I see you a young guy, man. You got everything going, whatever. You can have her.
I said to him, I said, bruh, I don't want her. You can have her. Like, it's no competition anymore. I'm cool. I don't want no parts of this. So guys, that was my story of me sleeping with my boss's girlfriend. If you guys want to hear more stories, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button. And guys, it's your boy Urban Curse. It's your boy